It was 1973, I think, and Bess Constable was in the pub at the time with her husband Jumbo, and Jumbo died, and there was a rule that time at the with the brewery that a single woman couldn't run a pub, which was today, my God, that would be laughed out of court, wouldn't it?
Anathema.
Anathema. And it was advertised. No, it wasn't advertised. I heard that they were looking for a new landlord and landlady. So I asked Anthea, who was a landlord's daughter, shall we ever go? And she said, well, why not? So I applied, and we went for an interview at Howden at Witheridge, at the Tiverton, and another one up country at their headquarters was at Chelmsford or something, or Cheltenham. And they rang me up and said, yes, it's yours. What you need is £3,000 to get in. And I had no more £3,000, you know, than fly. But it just happened that her mother was going to start teacher training and had sold her house.
Huh?
And she lent me £3,000, which I paid back over the time. And that's when we took it over. It was a wet pub at the time, apart from a few crisps. Could you get a pasty? Best had pasties in one of them machines, didn't she?
We introduced food.
Yeah, we were introduced food on a
little bits of wood.
A platter of wood,
yeah.
And we made Plowman's lunches. Wendy Colton made the scones. It was very good of her.
That's very good. Yeah.
And she charged for them, not very much so. And we introduced that and went down well. And then we did sandwiches, and a couple of times we did an evening meal. Poor Anthea was out there one evening, and Roger Brockway, the policeman, he asked her to have duck à l'orange.
Yes.
And she'd never cooked it before in her life. Oh. And I remember she cooked three ducks before she got it right. And we were eating cold duck for bloody months. But he sat down.
Wasn't just for him, surely.
No, it was for him and Sandy, his
Oh,
missus.
I see, yes.
Because Sandy once said to me, she said, this bloody pub would fall down if my husband wasn't here to prop it up. And that was the policeman.
And it was the policeman, yeah. And what role, can you remind me of like the latest, or put it rather differently, the earliest closing time you ever had here?
Oh, earliest closing time?
Would have been about 4 in the morning?
About 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. They didn't seem to want to leave.
No, neither did the police.
No, well, Roger Brockway was here all the time.
Yeah.
But mind you, this mustn't go out because if he's retired.
Is he?
Because it could go on.
I got a beautiful picture of me and Hillary behind that.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you what, I put the price of cider up from 9.5p to 10p.
Oh, that was it.
And Fred Eyre swore, and Ken Every, they would never darken the doorstep again.
No. And
they swore that at about 2:30 in the afternoon, and that leaving of the pub lasted until 7:45 that night. And then they realised they couldn't.
Can you imagine it? A pint of cider for a shilling, was it? I can't remember how much it went up from.
From 9.5p to 10
to 10p.
So 1 in 10pence, 0.4, 1 in 9pence, 0.4 to 2 shillings.
Right. And I've already forgotten that, but never.
Yeah, that's all right.
So beer, anyhow, it was cheap in
those
days.
Cider,
and it was cider.
I sold tankard and trophy.
Yeah.
Trophy was 15 pence a pint, tankard was 16 pence a pint, and a whiskey was 20 pence a top.
Cool.
And so on a good night, I would take £100, and that took a lot of doing. You know, bugger me that you can spend £100 in here coming up for a drink and something to eat, can't you? No.
Oh, yeah.
God, dear soul.
Yes, you could. So did you ever have to deal with any trouble in here?
None whatsoever. The trouble we probably had was there were too many people. I remember serving out that window.
In the summer.
In the summer.
Cool.
They couldn't get anybody more into the bar, and we used to serve drinks out the window.
And you had a pint of cider had to go right up to the top.
Yeah.
You know, because there was no froth or anything. So you had to be, if I was serving there, I had to go out and carry it very, very carefully to somebody.
Have you got something wrong with your throat?
No, of course I haven't.